Hi, I'm Jeremy Kaplan, creator of the Wonder Tools newsletter. Today, I want to talk about something many of us struggle with, finding the right balance between paper and digital notes. I like thinking on paper. That's why I've got a box under my desk with 27 old idea notebooks. But when I'm searching for a specific note that I scrawled early in the pandemic, only digital notes are actually searchable. Given that paper and digital have those distinct advantages, I've been experimenting lately with hybrid approaches. So I'd like to share what I've found to be most useful in case it might be of interest to you. The Remarkable Paper Pro is my current notebook of choice. It's a sleek digital device that feels like paper. It's actually a specialized paper tablet from Oslo, Norway, that feels kind of like a cross between a Kindle and an iPad. It's designed specifically for writing and reading, not for web surfing, games, or social apps. In touch and sound, it's closer to paper than any digital device I've used before. I'd recommend this if you feel like the feel of paper is what you're after, but you prefer having a single organized device instead of piling up various paper notebooks. It's great if you're easily distracted by multi-purpose devices like an iPad, or if you spend a lot of time taking notes by hand and want a luxurious feeling device that's designed specifically for writing and reading. Some of the features I particularly like: first, the paper-like feel. You can adjust the marker to look and feel like various pens or pencils with a thin stroke or thicker stroke or medium stroke. And the screen somehow feels and sounds like actual paper. I also appreciate the backup and sync capabilities, so you can see any of your notes later on your phone, or your tablet, or your laptop. You can even screen share if you want to broadcast to a meeting to turn your paper tablet into a kind of whiteboard for those meetings. The flexible annotations are helpful as well. I like annotating PDFs and then toggling my notes on and off if I want to see just the original PDF. After the previous Remarkable 2, this model, the Remarkable Paper Pro, actually lets you add color annotations, although I actually find that I rarely use color. Some people might find that really useful. It's completely distraction-free. There's no apps, no email, web browsing, notifications, none of that to pull your attention away from the writing you're doing or the note-taking you're doing. And the eye-friendly e-ink display is really easy on your eyes. It helpfully has a backlight for reading or writing at night or in the dark. But in general, it's really a clean and easy screen to use. There are some limitations to consider. First, it's a single-purpose device. So if you need a multifunction tablet that will do a variety of things or allow you to watch videos and do various kinds of work through various apps, this is not that device. And if you already have an iPad or a fancy other tablet, it may feel like an excess to have a separate paper tablet just for reading and writing. It's also expensive. At $579, it's a premium investment for those who can afford a luxury note-taking tablet. Although it's very durable, and if you write and read a lot digitally, I think the price certainly is worth it over a period of time. It doesn't work with Kindle books, that's another consideration, or other reading formats that are specialized. It's great for PDFs and EPUB files, which is a special kind of ebook file type. And you can import web articles with a new bookmarklet, but you can't use it to read your Kindle library if you've already bought or borrowed a lot of Kindle books. There's also no multi-document view, which adds friction when you're switching between reference documents, as I often find that I'm doing. And the handwriting to text conversion is a bit clunky. It works, even with messy handwriting like mine, but it does require multiple clicks, and the formatting of the converted text isn't optimal, in my experience. There's also a slight learning curve, especially for advanced features like cutting and pasting text or adding multiple annotation layers. For the most part, it's pretty easy to use, though. The pricing is $579 with a basic marker stylus, which is actually really decent, or $629 with a marker plus, which has a built-in digital eraser, so you can flip over the marker and erase anything you've written on the digital screen, which is pretty cool and very handy. There's a book folio protective cover for an additional $89, which is really nice and elegant to cover the screen and protect it. Or you can buy a fancy type folio cover with a keyboard built in for $229. And that basically is if you want to do a lot of your entry by typing, it converts really nicely from a cover into a keyboard with a stand. It's very well designed, but it is pricey. There's an optional Connect subscription for backing up and syncing your notes to your various devices for $30 a year. And you can try that out for 100 days for free to see if that's something you need. If you're just using the device itself for writing and reading and you don't need to back up to other devices, you won't need that subscription. The second big option that I really like is the Rocketbook, and that's become my flexible, reusable backup option for note-taking. It's a reusable notebook with plastic pages that you write on with special erasable friction pens. You can then point your phone at the notes to send them to your online notebook of choice using Rocketbook's free smartphone app. Then you just wipe away the notes with a damp cloth and you can reuse the pages. This is great if you like writing with an ink pen, but if you want to keep your notes organized in your preferred digital hub. It's perfect if you want a relatively low-cost reusable notebook and you don't want another digital device. A few things I like about it. I like that the pages are completely reusable. You just wipe off the ink with a damp cloth and you can keep using the pages over and over. It's also easy to scan the notes to your digital hub. You mark a little symbol at the bottom of the page, and I think this is a really clever system. And that indicates that you want to send that particular page to your preferred destination when you scan it with the app. And you can send it to destinations like Google Drive, Evernote, Slack, Dropbox, OneNote, and iCloud, as well as Google Photos. There's no subscription cost, which is nice. The app is free to use, and you can send some pages to one source and another page to another host, depending on what you're using those pages for. And that's a nicely flexible system, and it's fast. So as soon as you point the phone at it with the app open, it'll send that page as a PDF or as an image to your app of choice. It's lightweight with a spiral binding and a fold-back cover, and I like that that makes it easy to return to any page that you're working on. You can easily title pages. Also, that's a nice feature by writing a double hashtag at the top, which makes digital categorization simpler. So when you're looking at the files later, they'll have the file name that you've given them when you wrote down the note originally. Also, the Rocketbook can transform your handwriting into searchable text as long as it's somewhat legible, and mine is definitely borderline. There are some drawbacks, though, for the Rocketbook. First, it works only with friction pens, which limits writing tool options. You'll need to keep new pens on hand, which is kind of like keeping batteries ready for a device in the old days. And the plastic pages feel a little bit different from traditional paper, which does take some getting used to. I like the feel, and it doesn't bother me, but some people might be paper loyalists. The erasable ink can sometimes smudge before it dries completely, so you need to be careful with that if your hand is resting on the page. Sometimes that can happen. And price-wise, it's quite affordable at anywhere between $30 and $50, depending on the size and style of Rocketbook notebook you choose. And the replacement pens are fairly cheap, just cost a couple of bucks each. The model I'd recommend personally is the $38 Fusion model because it includes 42 pages, all of which are reusable. And across those pages, there are 7 different page templates, including templates for monthly and weekly calendars, dotted pages, lined pages, as well as special templates for projects, goals, and ideas. And that to me is preferable to the other notebooks like the executive model or just other Rocketbook models that just have all lined pages or all dotted pages. Another interesting hybrid option that I've been trying and liking is the Boogie Board Blackboard 2.0. It's a reusable smart notebook with a permanently dark screen. Writing on it feels like using a special stylus on black glass. It's a bit like an adult version of an Etch-a-Sketch or the kids' Boogie Board, which is a kind of kids' toy. This is a kind of professional version of that. And like the Rocketbook, you link the Boogie Board Blackboard to an app to save your writing digitally to services like Dropbox or Google Drive or Evernote. It's cheaper than the Remarkable and certainly a lot cheaper than an iPad, and you don't have to worry about recharging the screen. There is actually a tiny battery inside, but it lasts for years like a watch battery. It's essentially a simple blank screen that you write on with a stylus. If you get the version with a smart pen, you do need to recharge the stylus occasionally, but the advantage is that it's a little easier to sync and to erase than the Rocketbook. You just press a button with the Blackboard to sync your writing or drawing, and then you press another one to erase it and start fresh. One limitation is that you might accidentally erase a page if you hit the wrong button. And I've done this with a cheaper Versatile model from Boogie Board. The Blackboard 2.0 costs $150 with the smart pen, but it's just $45 without the smart pen, in which case you can just use your phone to scan in what you write with the Blackboard app. So that's a good, affordable alternative to the Rocketbook. If you want a digital pen, the LiveScribe Live Pen is worth considering. It's a digital pen that records what you write on special paper and converts it to digital text. This is ideal if you want to write on paper and also to automatically save your notes digitally without carrying around a special digital notebook. You do need special notebooks, though, a special kind of paper, or you can print out sheets for the pen's camera to track your writing. So that is a caveat. The newest model of LiveScribe's pen is ultra portable. Unlike older versions that I used to use that felt chunky, like a big highlighter, the new version or the newest version is $65 for a bundle that includes 4 158-page journal-size notebooks, which you can keep in different locations. So you have them ready whenever inspiration strikes. And you can always download and reprint new paper if you need to. Some limitations to consider: it's smaller than other note-taking tools, this pen, so it's easier to misplace or lose. And it does have to be recharged every couple of weeks. And while it's more streamlined than older models, it's not as chunky. It still might not feel as comfortable as your favorite pen. And of course, you need to buy repeatedly these special notebooks or remember to download and print the special paper with the required microdots, which can be a nuisance if you just don't happen to have your notebook with you and you have to go and print that special paper. Finally, the old traditional option, there's a like term notebook that I really like. It's a traditional, sturdy paper notebook, which happens to have a table of contents section and numbered pages to help organize your notes. So it's a traditional notebook. There's nothing digital about it. There's no digital pen that goes with it, nothing at all with any kind of screen or battery. It's just a traditional paper notebook, but it does have that nice table of contents section and thicker paper and a nice feel to it. It's perfect if you're a traditionalist who doesn't want the distraction of anything digital. You don't want any digital gadgets to charge, or maybe you just enjoy the simple tactile feel of pen on paper. One useful tip: you can actually still digitize your notes, even if you use a traditional notebook like this, just by snapping pictures of important notes and uploading them to ChatGPT, or even snapping pictures of them with the ChatGPT app, which is surprisingly good at recognizing handwriting and converting it to digital text. You don't need any special features to do that. You can just send the converted notes to whatever digital hub you want, or just save them as text. I like the $17.50 dotted model of the term with numbered pages. It has 2 page markers to keep your place or to return to important notes. It has a pocket. It has an elastic closure band. It has a solid, nice looking color and solid paper, and it's durable. I've used them for years. If you do often write outdoors, you might consider the $29 Outlines model, which has waterproof paper and a water-resistant cover. Or if you do a lot of drawing, you might like the 120G model, which is $29 as well. And that offers low transparency paper, meaning that it basically prevents the ink from showing through, and it works well for drawing or sketching. If you just want a budget-friendly basic option, there's a Reta-C notebook that I've linked to in the newsletter version of this post. That's just $8 and it works fine. So what's my bottom line? Well, no single tool satisfies all my note-taking needs, and you might end up having multiple different tools you use at different times. An all digital system isn't optimal for me because I like to get away from screens on Saturdays and occasionally at work. And an all paper system also doesn't work for me because I have years worth of notebooks filling desk drawers and storage bins, and I'm not eager to accumulate more paper if I can avoid it. And living in the city and rushing around means I often don't have a big paper notebook with me at all times. So I've landed on a blended approach. The Remarkable Paper Pro is my preferred note-taking tool when I'm at work or doing extended brainstorming at home. When I'm in meetings or with my children, I do sometimes prefer to use my Rocketbook to jot things down to remove any hint of having something digital in front of me or in between me and whoever I'm with. Occasionally, I will also pull out an individual piece of paper or index cards and then later digitize them with ChatGPT. What about you? I'm curious about your preferred note-taking method. I'd love to hear your approach and what's worked for you. If you are open to sharing that, you can add a comment to the written version of this post, where you'll also find links to all the products mentioned in my newsletter. You can subscribe at wondertools.substack.com, where you can also leave comments or questions on this post. Thanks for listening, and I'll look forward to catching you in the next episode.